Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hits. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Baseball's back. It's the season opener. Oregon baseball will be live at PK Park. The first pitch at 3:05 p.m. We'll have coverage for you on the Oregon Sports Network starting at 2:45. But Duck Insider here on a Friday, and an exciting day with lots to go over. We're going to be talking Oregon women's basketball. Speaking with Ehis Etute soon as the Ducks play up in Seattle and Washington. Oregon men's basketball. We'll hear from Dane Altman later on. And also talk a little bit about softball. Just some housekeeping things regarding softball. They already played earlier today. It started with a 9 a.m. first pitch there and a victory for Oregon softball, 7-3 over Cal State Fullerton. It's a nice win for the Ducks. They were up 6-0 heading into the seventh inning. Elon Butler really stood out offensively with a double and a home run in the victory. There is a schedule change as well for Oregon softball. Kind of an odd situation there at Stanford. Stanford softball stadium is not done. There's still work being done, and there's issues with permitting. So announced yesterday, the tournament has been moved from Stanford. It'll be in Santa Clara, San Jose State, and at West Valley College. So the Ducks playing tomorrow at West Valley College, again against Cal State Fullerton. Cal Poly pulled out of the tournament, so it's another matchup with the Titans, and then Oregon plays Kentucky at noon, and then Sunday's a big one against number 13, Stanford, for Oregon softball. So congrats to Oregon softball, getting back on track with a win already, beating Cal State Fullerton 7-3. Like I said, it is Oregon baseball game day, but we got to talk a bit about Oregon women's basketball. The Ducks, 18-8, 6-7 in Big Ten play. Right now, 11th in the Big Ten, but let me tell you, Oregon's in a great spot. Number 24 in the net rankings with 5 regular season games remaining, and Sunday starts there. Big opportunity at 25th ranked Washington. The Huskies are 18-7, 8-6 in Big Ten play, but the key is the Huskies are 30 in the net rankings. So this would be a quality, excellent win for Oregon. It's also an emotional rivalry matchup for Oregon as they go to take on Washington. Again, they'll play Washington twice in the final 2 weeks this season. So kind of interesting dynamic for Oregon as they try and finish strong here as we dive deeper into February and inch towards March. One of the stars that's emerged for Oregon women's basketball, Ehis Etute. A unique player, a unique person. Really fun to bring her into studio earlier this week to get to know her. Really excited to bring in Ehis Etute, star sophomore forward for Ducks women's basketball. Thanks for coming in.
I didn't know all that.
Well, you are, and that's been what's been really cool about this season is, I talked to other coaches or broadcasters from other teams, and they're like, "Where did Ehis Etute come from?" Like, she's dominating, and I'm like, I'm not surprised. It felt like a matter of time. What's this evolution been like for you this year, getting such a bigger role on this team?
Well, obviously it's been really surprising and exciting to see that my role kept growing and growing, because obviously the coaches wanted me to grow and be more confident to star in my role, because they believed that I could do it. I just didn't myself in the beginning. So as I saw my teammates start to trust me more and pass me the ball more often, obviously I wanted to live up to the expectations too.
So that's been really important to you, is the trust that your teammates and coaches put into you, because as you pointed out, Coach Graves has talked a lot the whole season, talking to the media and with us, just, she doesn't know how dominant she can be. How important has that been, and helpful for you, for them to instill that life into you?
Well, I think you can see as it shows up on the court too. It's been the driving force, if you ask me, that they just trust me, and the coaches believe in me, and the coaches tell me all the time that I need to just start believing that I can dominate inside too. So that's been like helpful, I think.
And, you as a post, you're not the tallest,
No.
but you are one of the strongest and one of the fastest. What's it been like going against some of these big players in the Big Ten that are 6'5", 6'6", and you're still able to be effective?
Well, some of them, like, you obviously look up and you're like, oh, okay, that's like a whole foot taller than I am.
It's going to be tough.
And then you're like, okay, but what do I have that they maybe don't? And then you have to think about how you can maybe score on them, because obviously I can't just go up, so you kind of need to give them like a ball fake sometimes, or like go into them. Because if I'm stronger than them, then I need to use my strength to my advantage. If I'm faster, then obviously you need to use your speed, because I'm not going to be taller, obviously, as we've said. And Kelly always says that too. So I'm like, and then I already play against all these bigger posts in practice too, because unfortunately I'm not even the biggest one there either.
Right. And something that you've been able to do too, beyond the scoring, is rebounding. You lead the Big Ten in rebounding, just in terms of the art of rebounding at your height and being so dominant. How do you view that as a skill? How are you such a successful rebounder?
See, I didn't know that either.
If you're noticing a theme, I don't think you care too much about the personal accolades.
No, but I think I always believe that rebounding is just like, it's an attitude. It's like a mindset, because you don't need to be the strongest. Otherwise, the guards will never get the rebound. It's just who crashes the hardest and who jumps after it the most and who always tries to get it. Because people sometimes forget to box you out, even if they say in practice you have to. If you crash every time, like one time you will get it. You just need to. It's a mindset. It's like resilience and determination to get it. So I think that's what gets me the rebounds, not the heights or like how fast or strong I am.
That's awesome. I think a lot of young basketball players watch that, and coaches will love hearing you say that rebounding is an attitude, and it plays out on the court. So recently, last week, you were named Big Ten Player of the Week, first Duck ever to receive Big Ten Player of the Week. I understand the team was cheering for you, yelling, they announced it, and you weren't sure what it was, or you were just kind of like, thanks.
Yeah, that was, well, when they said it, I was like, okay, I was like, that's great. Because I didn't know how to react. I didn't understand what it really was, because, obviously I'm international, so to me it's like, okay, like, that's not, I'm not really winning anything.
And that's an important detail to remember, is there's a lot of international athletes, including you, that, I think we're like, oh, Big Ten Player of the Week, and you're like, what even is that?
That was kind of how I felt. I was like, I'm not really winning anything. So I was like, okay, guys. And then Kelly was like, yeah, the first Duck to do it. And I was like, that doesn't really make sense to me, because I was like, oh, didn't Sabrina go here? And then it was like, but the Big Ten player. I was like, oh yeah, we were in a different conference before that.
Right. And that's something that you talked about a lot too, is you're always like, I just want to win.
Yeah.
It feels like a big overarching theme with you, is that's your main focus, is coming away with a win in a game.
It is. I just don't think that I don't think I have to score like 20 or 30 every game. I feel like if my other teammates do it and we win, that's all that matters. Like, I just do what I can to ensure that we win, because that's what matters in the end. It's like, no one cares what I did, as long as people just care about the win. So like, that's what it's important. It's like, if I didn't play good and we won, I'm still happy. And if I play good and we did win, then obviously I'm a little happier, but just...
Right. It is nice to have a good game.
Yeah, because then Kelly won't be on me the next practice.
Yes, that's always nice, too. I'm talking with Duck star, Ehis Etute. Let's talk about your background. You're from Dudelange, Luxembourg.
Yeah.
We practiced it before, by the way. That's how I
pronounced it. Yeah, it's like it's a French pronunciation, so it's like Dudelange.
Dudelange, Dudelange, Luxembourg. What was it like growing up there?
Well, it was nice, because I lived right across my elementary school, so it was like, I was never late to school, so that's always nice. a plus. But nowadays it's like, the kids always wake me up when school's out, and I'm at home, just chilling.
That's great.
So yeah, it's a nice place. I think it's really beautiful. Sometimes I still miss it, because I liked going there, I liked going on walks there. The nature was really nice. You don't really have a lot of that over here.
And it's not a huge country. I mean, the population is about 600,000, and basketball not as big there as it is here in America. At least my understanding. I shouldn't speak on it. You should, but maybe it's not as popular.
It is true. Like basketball is like you would barely, on the biggest games you would have like maybe 2,000 people attend one of the biggest games, and it would have to be a men's game because obviously people love men's basketball. Can't blame them for it. And we had like maybe 9 teams. It keeps getting less and less because more and more like women just go out of the country to study and like play there, so the teams keep getting less and less. But it was in my opinion, like we had some good teams because obviously we had over international players, like professional players who played there, and they like elevated the league and helped you get better. And you have like all kind of ages there. Like I started playing in that league when I was 16, and the oldest player was I think 39 or something.
Wow.
So like you really had all kind of different people there. So you could always learn something.
When did you start playing basketball, and then when did you really fall in love and commit yourself to it?
Well, I started playing basketball when I was like 11 because before that I played handball, which is like really popular there.
Yeah.
But then I quit because I didn't like it. But then my parents forced me to play a sport because they were like, if you don't play a sport, you will get fat. So it really wasn't me who wanted to do this. Because I wanted to be a ballerina, but my grandma said that I wasn't built that way.
Your family is just as blunt and honest as you are.
They were not very supportive of my dream. So
it's brutal.
So I was like, okay, I guess not. So they just dragged me to basketball practice one day, and I thought that if I quit basketball, they would put me in something else I don't like. So it's like I might as well just stick with it. So that's how we ended up here, guys.
So you stuck with basketball kind of just to appease them.
Yeah.
And now you've gotten all the way here. You're Division I player in America.
They're really happy and proud of me. I don't think they saw that coming either. They just didn't want me to like get overweight. I think they just want me to be in shape and like so like that's a good thing though. I feel like it's important to like be in a sport when you're a child because it teaches you discipline too, and like it's good for you. It's like it keeps you in shape, keeps you healthy.
Yeah.
And it gives you the possibility to have friends.
So it sounds like you had a kind of a nonchalant start with it. When did you realize, I'm actually pretty good? Like you were out there dominating.
I mean, in the beginning I wasn't very good.
Okay, that's fair.
But then as I kept going, like at some point people were like, "Oh, you're really strong. Like you should maybe like consider being in the national team." And then I went to a couple of national team practices, and then as more people kept telling me I was good, and as I kept like playing games and kept getting better and better, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not too bad at this. Maybe I should stay here. And then obviously I started really liking the sport as I made more friends and met more people, and like it just became fun, like winning games. And the moment I realized I liked basketball was when I lost a game, because I was like, it was crazy to me. How could I lose?
Yeah.
And that just showed me that I did care about the sports.
It took losing some games.
Yeah, it took losing games to be like, oh my God, I need to work harder because I can't be losing here.
Right. I think that's relatable for a lot of people is when you lose something, the competitive juices really start flowing. You realize how much you love it. That's part one of our conversation with Ehis Etute. She's hilarious, she's unique, and a star on the rise for Ducks women's basketball. Let's hear from Ehis more when we come back on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, Chris Clayton here with you in our Country Financial studio. This is Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ehis Etute, if you missed part one of the conversation, hilarious. The most original backstory I've ever heard for a player. These are her words, not mine. She said her parents put her into basketball because they didn't want her to get fat. They told her, you're going to get fat if you don't play basketball. That's what they told her. I think it worked out. She said she wanted to be a ballerina. She committed to basketball, and everybody's happy about that. She's a star on the rise for the Ducks, only a sophomore, quickly emerging as one of the best players in the Big Ten. Plenty more to go over with her. Let's go to part two of the conversation with Ehis Etute. We were talking about your parents, your mom and dad. Are they athletes as well? I mean, a lot of the athletes we talk about on these shows, they have very strong athletic backgrounds. Are your parents college athletes or professional athletes, perhaps?
No. My mom's a school teacher.
How cool.
And like my dad, he would work out at the gym, like at fitness, but like he wasn't an athlete either. So honestly, I don't know where I came from because my grandparents weren't athletes either. Like on my mom's side, all we ever did was like be like part of the scouts, like the Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm. That's where my mom's side was. So I used to be a Girl Scout, but honestly, I don't know where that athletic side would come from. It's because it's not. I don't think it's on my parents either.
It's so fun having a conversation like this because everybody comes from different backgrounds, and I'm sure your family enjoys sports now, but it's just crazy to have somebody come from where you are, and now you're one of the stars of the Big Ten. So you were a Girl Scout, you said. What was that experience like? I mean,
it was like in Luxembourg we have the Girl Scout and Boy Scout that like kind of like together. So obviously it's like one big group, and like it was fun. I really enjoyed it because like we had a lot of fun games outside and like a lot of like funny things we did, and we used to go camping together. So I had a lot of fun camping trips, a lot of fun memories there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you also have, going back to your family, your sister is an excellent basketball player as well.
Yeah.
That's Ehis Etute. She's committed to play in college basketball here in America as well. You guys are pretty close in age, so do you think you helped develop her skills as she watched her older sister being you dominate?
I think that growing up, it must have been like hard for her because a lot of times people would we had the same coaches, so a lot of times they would just compare us to each other. So because sometimes I know I got annoyed sometimes when they were like, "Oh, your sister's almost so much better than you. Like she does this that you don't do," and I was like, "Ugh." It's like, can I just be my own person?
Right.
So I know she probably got annoyed with it too because people would just. Like, sometimes it's annoying to get so much pressure because of your older sibling. So I know that was hard for her, but, like, we always played together and we had a lot of fun. Like, between us, it wasn't that much of, like, competition between us. It was, like, we're both good, and the better we get, the better it is for our country later on when we played again in the national team. So, obviously, it was, like, we just loved playing together, and we always wanted to play together, but we didn't get that chance, really, because, I mean, we did play on the same team. She didn't play a lot because the coaches didn't play her, but obviously she's a great player, and one day we will play together in the national team again.
Yes, that'd be amazing. Well, you made the trip to live in Eugene in America here, and so she's going to be doing the same. What are you going to tell her about adjusting to life in the USA to maybe get her prepared?
Well, she's been here in Florida, like IMG Academy, like the last couple of years. So, yeah, she has a lot of acting experience now. Adjusting to life here.
Just as many as you, I
Yeah,
guess.
so honestly, the only thing I could tell her is that she should just enjoy the experience, and like she will find people who understand her and who are able to like relate to what she's going to. Like the most important part, I think, is just having other internationals on the team too, because otherwise you just feel like you kind of don't have anyone to relate to the same things you do, or who knows the same things you do, the same culture. So just having international people on the team always helps.
Mm-hmm. And for you, what do you like to do off the court? What do you spend your free time? What are some of your hobbies?
Well, currently, I have a lot of hobbies that I pick up and then don't do it again ever again. So
oh, yes.
So recently, the hobby I decided to pick up was crocheting.
Oh, nice.
Let's just say it's not going too well. I don't think I'm very good at it.
You're just dabbling.
Yeah, just dabbling, and I don't think I'm very good at it. And then the hobby before that was painting. So I was painting at that time.
Then, a lot of art.
Yeah, then I was doing reading. I'm trying to pick that up again on road trips because you have so much time. So I'm trying to be like I'm trying to be a good person. You know, so inspirational, but it's so hard.
It is.
Especially because Felipa keeps distracting me. She's like, Ehis, let's watch Love Island. And I'm like, okay, if you insist.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Felipa. It seems like Felipa Tilliander, Oregon women's basketball, it seems like you guys are really close. Good friends.
I mean, that must be one of the best things that came out of being here, our friendship. We just do a lot of fun stuff together. We're so similar, and like we enjoyed the same things. We have the same humor. Like she understands me without me having to overly explain my humor, because a lot of people don't know when I'm joking anymore these days. They're like, "Are you serious or are you joking?" I was like, "It's a joke. I'm just very sarcastic, guys."
Yeah, I think most people can tell, and it's hilarious. So we love it.
There's people who can't tell because sometimes they're like, "Oh, are you serious right now?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't. Don't worry about it."
Right. That's cool. I mean, anybody sarcastic, I think, can absolutely relate to that. When you think about your long-term goals on and off the court, what comes to mind? What do you want to accomplish in the future?
Well, with basketball, I think I just want to like play a couple of years professionally overseas. I like traveling to different countries, so I think that would be really fun. Just go overseas and travel and just get to know new people, new friends. Like that's always something I wanted to do. So that's one of my long-term goals. And after that, that's something for the future. I don't think that far.
Are you going to go back and be a ballerina? There's still time, Ehis.
I think so. I think I should pick up a ballet class. I saw Oregon has a ballet class.
Hey.
So I was like, that's perfect for me. But the problem is, I'm not very flexible. So so obviously, maybe being a ballerina is a bit far-fetched these days. So I might need to do something else.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still time to achieve your dreams. As you think about the rest of the season for the team, you guys have had so many close games this year and probably some close games ahead, let's be honest. What is the key to finishing strong here the rest of the season, looking ahead to the NCAA tournaments now about a month away?
I feel like what we really need to do is just stay mentally locked in and be focused, because that's one of the things that you need to stay focused till the end. We can't mentally check out because of one loss, for example. So we just need to stay focused, stay determined, and just know that these games, we will win them at the end, because it comes down to mental toughness in the end. So the toughest team will win, and especially in close games, it's like everything matters at that point. So we just need to keep focusing in practice, working hard, and working on the things that we're not doing so well right now.
She's one of a kind. Ehis Etute. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So fun getting to know Ehis Etute, hearing some of her backstory. You get a big glimpse of her personality and what she's like. She's beloved on this team and is just only getting better. The first ever Duck that was the Big Ten Player of the Week and part of the rising core of young players for this Oregon women's basketball team. They're getting ready for a trip up I-5 to play UW, the Huskies, on Sunday at 5 p.m. Head coach Kelly Graves spoke to the media earlier today about the state of the team, how they've used this week, and the matchup with Washington.
One of the last things I was asking you about, I guess, about a week ago was just kind of an extended break here. How do you feel like your guys have maximized that time?
Well, it's getting to be pretty close to our finals are coming up relatively soon, and so I think our team with a couple of days off got ahead study-wise. That's the hope and the theory. Definitely rest, rehabilitation for those that needed it. Based on today's practice, I would say that the break has been good. We had high energy today. They were focused. And we turned our attention to Washington, and you could tell they were kind of re-energized, and I think that's what what you're trying to get out of this time of year.
I guess, were there anything lingering from the Ohio State game that you think is worth taking, or is that just put that in the past and move forward?
We watched some film on it and tried to learn best we can. I mean, it was pretty easy to figure out, the problem, right? Some turnovers, and we just, they were better than us. We just weren't completely sharp, and but give them the credit, they outplayed us. Not a ton to learn from it that we didn't already know.
Has it been weird, given the schedule where, sometimes you guys have one day of prep for a team, sometimes you're traveling, you're on the road for a whole week, that you've just had this kind of week to not relax, but just, has it broken up your schedule a little bit, I guess?
That's a great question. Not to single him out as a great question. Yours was equally impressive. But yes, it's not the same schedule every week that we've been used to for a long time, and I kind of liked that, the rhythm of our former conference that season. I don't want to use the name now because others are now using it. So yes, it's a different rhythm, with the mandated at least 2 games in between, but sometimes one's a travel day, and like you said, we only have 1 day to prepare. You just make the most of it. It is what it is. I think rest at this time of the year is important. I mean, sure, we could cram in another practice, but we choose not to because I think rest is critical. Our kids, do we really need to work on more pick and rolls? It's keeping them fresh mentally as well as physically.
And then this is the second year in a row, I think, last 5 games you played your closest geographical conference opponent in the last 5 games. What's kind of just weird about that setup?
I wish they would do something about that. You play 13 games and you don't play one of those teams until the 14th game when you have to play them. I don't like that. I think, let's say one of us has a key player out, hurt, or whatever the case is. I believe that they should be spread out a little bit more. But it is what it is. We have to, we have to play them. It's going to be a heck of a game both ways. They're a good team. We're both fighting for positioning, for NCAA seeding, for Big Ten tournament seeding. So it's important. But I wish it was a little more spread out, yes.
To me, at least, this feels like one of the better Washington teams that you guys have probably faced. What stands out with them? And obviously, they have some really high-end players, especially.
Yeah, well, Tina does a really good job. She has built that. She didn't have a lot when she first got there, and it took her a couple of years. She's recruited well. She's retained her players, and you can tell they have good synergy. They play off each other really well. I think what makes them difficult is you got 3 players currently on their roster that have had 30-point games, and then in Howell, in Sellers is an elite point guard, and Eladine, she's one of the elite players. She was first-team all-conference preseason. So you put those 3 together with, Hannah Steins, who has the highest plus-minus on their team. Her numbers are down a little bit from the past, but she is that glue kid. Bryn McGoy, the talented freshman, has really come on. And then they have a good, solid, experienced backup that gives, so they've got good size inside. But I think what makes them tough is you've got to guard all 5 every single time. They can all beat you. They space as well as any team in the conference. If you watch them and stop their action offensively, anytime during the possession, you'll see great spacing. And so they make you defend. It's going to be a challenge, no question. And you mentioned the point guard. Yeah, Sellers is just elite. She, obviously still pretty good. Her assist numbers are down a little bit, but she's still capable of getting you 8, 10 assists, but she's capable of scoring 35 or 38 points in a game. And when she gets on a heater, she's pretty tough to stop.
I'm curious on specifically your 2 sophomores coming off kind of a lesser game. What have you seen from them this week, and what are some priorities for getting them going? Because, as you said after the game, it's hard to win these type of games if you're not getting the best out of those 2 in particular. Yeah, well, they've, you guys have watched us. They've had some ups and downs, and typically they don't both have kind of a, a lesser than good game. They did. And, again, give Ohio State the credit. They put so much pressure on you. It was kind of hard for those 2 to get going. But Ehis has been great. We talked about it after the fact, and she knew that she needed to do just a little bit more. And Katie's just a work in progress. There's times when she just is so on that. But her effort and Ehis's effort, they were the same. They're just execution sometimes wasn't as good, and obviously her production. But they moved on. I think they both have had great practices this week, so I think they've already turned the page. It's guys like you that keep bringing it up, Scopel.
Well, and it seems like last week, Ehis comes off the Big Ten Player of the Week, and both Illinois and Ohio State were regarding her differently than teams were previously. They were picking her up when she was bringing the ball up the court. They were throwing doubles and stuff at her. Like, how do you think she just is going to have to be able to handle that added attention now that she's not really, an unknown, I guess?
Yeah, and that's part of growing up. She's still relatively new in this kind of, in the attention that she's getting. So she'll adjust to it, and we'll adjust to it a little bit better. Ohio State's kind of an outlier. It's their style just doesn't really match ours very well, and we didn't handle it well the first time we played them. So if we see it again, I think we'll be better. But she'll adjust.
And with, I know you're not going to speak for the players, but Katie has connections to Seattle. Obviously, Ari was at UW. I know you don't like them, and Sophia's from the state. Like, how do you sort of balance the emotional aspect of this game and being in Seattle versus, playing in it?
Well, yeah, obviously it's a great rivalry, and we're both really good teams, so that's going to up the ante, so to speak. Katie and I were talking today. She's got a ton of family that's going to be at the game. Trey, one of our coaches, obviously played there. I think it's got all the makings for continuing to be a great kind of rivalry here. It was a little one-sided for many years, and Tina's done an awesome job. She's really made that team viable. Hopefully, Katie can control her emotions, right? It's always difficult when you go back. She's been there and done that last year, but in a different role. So now that she's the one that everybody's watching, it could be a little bit more difficult. Ari, I think she's now been here a couple years. I think that kind of fades a little bit. But it's a big win, a big game for those guys in particular, but obviously it's big for our team. And the last time we had a rivalry game was the Oregon State game, and we played really well. And I remember asking the team, man, why did we come out? Well, we don't like them, and we were focused. Hopefully we have that same kind of energy and get the same kind of start up there. We played pretty well on the road. Actually, I think in conference play, we played better on the road than we played at home so far. So hopefully that trend continues.
That's Ducks head coach Kelly Graves speaking on the fact that Oregon already has 2 ranked road wins this year. Looking for number 3 Sunday, 5 p.m. at number 25 Washington. When we come back, we hear from men's basketball head coach Dana Altman next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, Let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It's really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Oregon men's basketball is back at home this weekend. Tomorrow, taking on Penn State. That'll be at noon at Matthew Knight Arena with 11:30 a.m. tip-off, or a pregame show starts on the Oregon Sports Network for that one. Joey Mack and Luke Jackson on the call. Oregon taking on a Penn State team 2-12 in Big Ten play. Oregon 1-12. So this should be a close game. On paper, this is going to be a great matchup. The Nittany Lions should be a fun environment tomorrow at noon. Earlier today, Dana Altman spoke to the media as the Ducks make their final preparations for the Nittany Lions.
Nice to go back, and I'm sure the percentages from before you want to improve, but just overall.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I told you guys, first of all, I credit him for fighting his tail off to get back. He's in his last year. He's wanting to finish better, and so, like I said, what they told us originally, he'd be just getting back now, but he fought back a week early and played really well against Purdue. Is the whole reason we were in that game. And he, like the rest of our team, that second half against Indiana, we didn't have any juice or whatever. I don't know if we just got fatigued or if it just, whatever the case, we didn't play well the second half against Indiana defensively. We scored 44 points. It wasn't like we weren't scoring buckets, but, man, we didn't get any stops at all. Scored the first 7 possessions, and that game got away from us. But, great to have Nate back. And as I mentioned, KJ, Sean, those 2 guys have stayed in there. The rest of the guys have stayed in there. We just haven't found ways to win games. And, hopefully, we can just, get our heads up and fight our tails off tomorrow.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Penn State?
They've fought, they've had a lot of close games, 2-pointer with Minnesota, 2-pointer with USC, the 3-pointer at Washington. They're talented. They're young, but they are talented. Their guards get to the rim. They're playing, free. They're young, they're talented, and they will give us all we want. We're going to have to play our tails off to get a win.
They don't rebound very well, and they're last in the league in shot blocking. How important is it going to be able to get inside and kind of just dominate in the paint?
Well, they're big inside, and they're physical inside, just like they were against Washington. They just don't, and it's not a good analogy this year, but, Nate last year was blocking shots. He was bouncy. He hasn't done that this year. I think that's the ankles. It's hurt his mobility. Now with both ankles, tender, and he's got to be careful. He's just not as bouncy as he was a year ago. So our rim protection hasn't been the same this year. But no, they're big inside. They rotate 3 bigs. And like I said, their athleticism, their wings are big. But they they messed up Washington, just beating up Big Frankton, really, the young man from Germany had a heck of a ball game, had 14 rebounds, played pretty good. But, no, they're physical inside.
Played Kwame a little bit on the wing a little bit. How much, some of that's probably because of who's available, but how much has that maybe forced him to stretch his game out and expand his skill sets this year?
Well, again, we've done it because, we want to put our best players on the floor. And, our original rotation would have had, KJ at the 4 and Nate at the 5 with Sean backing both of them up and Big E. That was our original intent. But, Dev's out and Jackson out and everything, we've gone big. And so, yeah, he's, it doesn't get him quite as involved. We're trying to figure out some ways to get him more involved offensively, because he gets on the perimeter. His rebounding numbers go down, which we need him on the boards. So it's been a work in progress. It wasn't our original plan, but out of necessity and trying to get our best players on the floor, we need him and Sean to play 30-plus minutes now.
Banged up Oregon team and head coach Dana Altman trying to move the puzzle pieces and figure it out here as the year progresses. Just a few weeks left in the season as Oregon plays Penn State tomorrow at noon at Matthew Knight Arena. When we come back, it is Oregon baseball game day. We hear from head coach Mark Wazakowski next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
It's baseball season. The season opener this afternoon at PK Park. 3:05 p.m. is first pitch there to start the season off. 2:45 p.m. pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. The Ducks taking on George Mason. They went 40-21 last year in the Atlantic 10. Nice early challenge there. And head coach Mark Wazakowski spoke to the media earlier this week as the Ducks prepare for what's hopefully a great season ahead.
Get an elephant out of the room. Have you decided on a starting rotation for this weekend?
Yeah, we have. We've gone, we're going to go, I think it's Sanford, Clark, Scolari, and Featherston will be who we open with. And then on the doubleheader, I'm not too sure on the order of who pitches what game or whatever, but that'll be the four.
just with Sanford getting the ball on the first day. What are your expectations for him in his second year and just sort of his development over the offseason?
Just to continue what he's done, what he showed us. He's pitched really well. His stuff has improved. Just everything that he's been able to roll out there. Like we didn't just pitch him on. We're not going to pitch him on game one just because we had a contract demand with him or something like that. That's not the case. I mean, the kid earned it, and so my expectation is for him to just go out there and pitch the way he's pitched. That we've seen him, in fall scrimmages and spring scrimmages, which has been really elite.
Two other guys in Colin and Ryan. Just what have you seen in their progress this offseason? They obviously got some good quality starts last season that gave them some great opportunities. Have you seen them take that to the next level heading into this opening weekend as well?
Yeah, kind of same answer. Those four kids that are, there's a lot of other kids that have been doing a really good job too. The pitching staff appears to be an area of strength and with some depth and improvement for sure. Coach Florid's done a nice job. Dan Straley's on our staff as well, who's added. And it just seems like there's been a lot of development, throwing a ball over the plate, quality stuff. Use of tech and analytics is part of that piece. But at the end of the day, it's kind of just old school, a little bit of the old school mixing with that just says, are you getting them out? Are you getting them out, throwing the ball over the plate? Weak contact, putting the ball in play versus, walking guys or hitting guys or whatever, free bases. And those guys have just done a nice job of with their stuff and their development and their game management. A lot of the boxes they're checking, and that's why they're getting the ball as starters on the weekend.
Scolari's gotten a lot of burn kind of on the pro scouting side. I'm curious what you made of him, what the objective was when you guys brought him in, and what stood out to you.
Pitched for Coach Flor at University of San Diego. Was a kid that had an arm surgery, years ago, and so it's taken him a while to get back to full strength. Went off, pitched in Cape Cod League this summer to help his progression. He'd been on a progression schedule. He's clear. He's totally clear now. He's big, strong kid, really good arm, and it's been exciting to have. Why'd we go on him? It was kind of a no-brainer. Everybody went on him. It doesn't take a genius to figure out the guy throws really hard. His breaking stuff is really good. He throws the ball over the plate. Appears to be a real competitor. Looks like a Friday guy. I kind of went with between him and Clark and some of these guys. It's like, who's better? I don't know right now. They've all pitched really well. It's just you can only. I guess you could probably split the game with two of them on Friday and just say, hey, you're both starting. Just the second starter comes in the fifth or whatever, or the sixth. But and we might even actually kind of do that with some of the way the others have thrown the ball and split a game to where there actually looks like there's two guys that are starting the game and just the second guy comes in the fifth or sixth inning. So, it seems like there's some options Coach Flores developed with Coach Straley as well, and it's been fun to watch their progress.
And Sanford's stuff was obviously super apparent. The strikeout numbers were pretty crazy for his innings pitched. I'm curious, what did it take to really rein in, some of the command stuff that he struggled with in regards to walks and the hit by pitches?
I don't know. We haven't seen any of that stuff this fall and spring at all. We've seen. I think from a mechanic standpoint, he would probably even tell you he wasn't as solid as he wanted to be at one point last year. This year, it seems like his mechanics are in sync, and he's thrown the ball really well. He's been able to command it, and he's been able to command multiple pitches that are all really, his stuff is elite. It's good.
Coach, the bullpen now features new faces and some returners from last year. How do you like how that group has came together as we approach Friday?
Yeah, kind of college baseball now, right? A lot of new guys, and you get some returners, and you got a lot more new guys in college sports these days. But the new guys and the returners. It just seems like there's more depth when you go 1 through, let's call it 15, and you probably even go further than that. But 1 through 15, there was a time, and probably when I was an assistant coach a lot, where you really only rolled out 8 guys, and things have really changed a lot with just training of pitchers and expectations, number of innings, all that kind of stuff, as you've seen in pro ball as well. Quality starts basically going 2 times through the order nowadays in pro baseball. As soon as they get the 3rd time through the order, they're going to the pen. And there's a lot of veterans that are pissed about that. As you saw in the playoffs with a couple of guys that let their managers know that they disagree with that theory, and they're usually the older players. The older players, they were taught start and finish it. You know, if you started it, finish it. And so I really respect those old guys. They're coming from a different cloth. It's a different time. There's more guys that pitch. And so to have more depth to where you can go 1 through 15 and you've got quality options, or even further than that, that's really important. You know, we did a study, and one of the studies that we did, it yielded that, you know, of all the programs that are in the top 50 in college baseball, you know, in the last 5 years, those programs all threw 17 to 18 guys that threw 10 or more innings on each one of those staffs. And that would be exceptionally rare. You know, as of like 7 years ago, there was that number, instead of being 17, was only 11 or 12. And so, you know, just sign of the times, things have changed. And so we got to adapt to it. And it looks like we've got more depth, especially in that bullpen. And hopefully we show that in our first opportunities this weekend.
In today's college baseball, it's nothing new to have an arm on your staff who's had Tommy John before. But I'm curious, when you bring in a guy like Scolari who had that his senior year of high school and then was at a different school afterwards, when you bring in a guy who maybe you haven't been around his recovery history of that and his baseline, just what sort of evaluations and kind of assessments do you have to do on a power throwing arm like that who has that sort of history?
The advantage of that case is that you got Matt Flora, who was with him. And so, you know, you pretty much go, hey, Coach Flo, what's this guy all about? And he tells you. And so you get that advantage. If you don't have that advantage, you talk to him. You just kind of find out what's worked for him, what hasn't worked. You know, Keith Meister, it seems like he does any of the procedures that are out there in pro and college sports these days. He happens to be a really good friend of mine, and so I can have conversations with him and get his opinions. And then Cody Peterman's really, really good at what he does when it comes to athletic training and medicine side here at Oregon. And so just with a connection with all those pieces, I think you get a real good idea about where the kid's at with his arm recovery, how confident he is with stretching a guy out maybe. And yeah, it is commonplace now. You know, the kids are going to get injured for whatever reasons. It's happening, and we can debate that all day. But really, the facts are that injuries are up, and so you better have a really good medical staff and a really good feel for where those kids are at, to where you know the injury happened, but you can hopefully come back from that as quickly as the medical people allow.
Yeah, really simple question, but what do you want to see from your team this weekend and just the first couple weeks of the season?
I want to play hard. I want to be them to be on time at the plate, and I want them to play ready defense to where they're in rhythm with every single pitch. I think if they do that positionally, I think they'll be really successful. On the mound, I want to see them be aggressive, stay within themselves on the mound, and I think if they do that, they're going to be really successful.
In the state of college athletics and kind of what's happened with Alabama men's basketball recently, is there any concern amongst college baseball coaches that, you know, maybe kids who left school early for the draft or, you know, went and signed initially in pro ball out of high school, is there any concern that those guys could, you know, sign and come back and pursue NCAA eligibility?
First part of the question, I'm totally in the dark of whatever happened with Alabama basketball, I think you said. I don't follow it. I don't know. If it ever came to a place where a kid could sign pro and come back to college, which is not the case right now, but if that ever got to a point, I don't know. I haven't wrapped my head around that concept. That's a foreign one to me. I mean, obviously it seems like there'd be more talent in your game, but then you'd question pro sports versus college sports, and you can already question whether we're actually professional coaches or college coaches nowadays. It seems like a lot of times we're pro coaches in a college venue. You know, they're going to school, but we're still in somewhat of a hybrid model, let's call it. I love the hybrid model. I think it's great. People bitch about it all the time. I don't care. I think it's whatever they allow us to do within the rules. Let's do it, and let's try to win a national championship.
Mark Wasikowski, Oregon baseball head coach, as the Ducks open their season this afternoon, 3:05 p.m. first pitch. 2:45 p.m. pregame show with Joey Mack and Ryan Milano on the call here on the Oregon Sports Network. Let's wrap up the show when we come back. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company. Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
Getting you ready for the weekend. This is Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're live in the Country Financial Studio, wrapping things up. Let's go through the schedule. It's a big one. First of all, softball already got a win earlier today. We talked about it earlier. 7-3 victory over Cal State Fullerton. Good Fullerton program out of the Big West. They went 37-17 last year. One of the best teams in the Big West. A game that Oregon favored on paper, but they took care of business, and they were up 6-0 going into the 7th. And Elise Sokolsky ends up getting the win from the circle. Elon Butler had a double and a home run for the Ducks. Oregon softball playing tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. against Fullerton again, interestingly enough. And then they play Kentucky at noon, and then Sunday against number 13, Stanford. Track and field is split in Boston, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Albuquerque. Men's tennis is playing here today. Lacrosse, women's tennis in action. Women's basketball on Sunday. Men's basketball tomorrow at noon against Penn State at Matthew Knight Arena. And, of course, it's Oregon baseball game day. 3:05 p.m. first pitch, 2:45 on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Go Ducks.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked.